We're
Australian
live.
horse. Live on the Twitchies.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to prepare yourself for it, as once again, Wednesday is it upon you? Oh, yes, it is. So I need you to sit back, relax, and you need to prepare yourself for some Linuxy content heading your way, courtesy of Old Man Vin, Joe Bryant, and one Pedro Medeiros. There it is. Thank you, Nightbot. Plugging us right
Yay,
at the top.
Nightbot.
Chilling
We love our
hard.
Nightbot.
Gesundheit there, Justin. You posted something, but the bot said no.
No. Oh, man. Lennox Nuru, you're adorable. Oh, man.
Yeah, there's workarounds now for the ads. Playing with a few of them.
That's just like one of the curious things that I've sat back and watched. I'm like, you people have seen ads? Okay.
I grabbed the I can't remember what where I found the filter. It was probably on Reddit somewhere.
Yeah,
Probably
I think
on
that's
the
where I
ad
got
block
same
subreddit.
one. Yeah.
That it blocks the videos on PC Gamer, and it doesn't let any ads play on Twitch. That's
I got Twitch Turbo, baby. See, this is something Twitch does not advertise, but if you get Twitch on
Yeah.
a $9 check a month, you don't see any ads. So what are we going to be talking about tonight, this evening, this morning? We got a couple of things. We got a new version of Ubuntu is out. NVIDIA's got some Wayland sauce. Framework laptops at a price that will not make Pedro blush. PinePhone Pros, which unfortunately will proceed to make Pedro blush. Reverse tethering your mobile device because it sounds silly until
Yeah.
you need it. And Apple Bot Blender. They're going to replace the interface with a single button.
No.
You just keep clicking
it's
on
the
it.
blend button.
No, man. You
Hi, Daisy.
You keep clicking on it
Hi,
until the thing
Justin.
shows up that you want.
I'm
It
Linux
just rotates it.
Skinneroo. Yay.
And Lego pies.
And Artheron, of course. And I know my Steve husband's probably in there somewhere.
I see a dual sense.
Yeah, let's immediately start creeping on the background as is tradition.
That wall's a bit barren.
I guarantee you there's a picture of us like being on a TV or something in that shot, but I haven't seen it yet. I'm not looking that way. I'm silent.
What's
Hey,
that colorful
Arthur.
thing and the well, I see the PS5 as well, so it's not just the it's a Switch controller
You know what? You know what's sticking out to
charger.
me? Though? I'll tell you
for
what's
the
sticking out to me.
for the Joy-Cons.
This is the printer.
I'm using this one
And
again.
also a printer.
There's a printer on the
Just
floor.
so perfect.
Paper. There's paper.
I've been enjoying all the after the interviews with William Shatner after his trip. It's been a lot of fun. Still celebrating that. That's so cool.
Yeah, no, what called my
And-
attention was the green globe in between the Joy-Cons and the Switch Pro controller.
Yeah.
It's like, why is it glowing green?
Sent the printer. We've
Nice.
never used it. I don't know, man. I have I have the laser printer, but I have an inkjet printer, which I consider like a printer because it'll never get used again.
Yeah.
It's a floor printer, man. Come on. Can't you tell?
Yeah.
Look at it.
Yeah. I had a printer that I used once a year for scale to print out flyers, and now I don't even bother. It's not even plugged in anymore.
The,
So,
Well, what was it? Year before last, I realized that, oh, right. The library's got a printer. I can just go there
yeah.
with my mobile and go touch a button.
Yeah, I
prints
know.
out.
I just go to FedEx. I can walk there, print out stuff.
USB-C's awesome, especially when it's USB 2 on the other end. Like all audio interfaces.
Yes, most of the cables.
Nice shot, Linux Skinneroo.
I do have a now USB-C, I think, is a horrible thing for devices like capture cards, EVGA, because they break off
bell
very
pepper.
easy. I like the big, chunky Type A.
If you're not touching the capture card, if it's in one place, you plug it in, it's like there, done.
To give you the perspective, Pedro, is I can take a USB-C with my thumb and snap it off.
Yes.
Okay, now you're going to have a tough time sitting me down going, no, that's perfectly fine. That's resilient. There's no way an accident that will cause it to fail with just the pressure of your thumb pushing on it could ever happen.
I'm just saying, if it's static in one place and the only thing you're changing is the HDMI
Now,
cable
the crux
to
of
the
this
other.
argument is me coming from the position of assuming that it will not remain static that one time. It doesn't. And I'm talking about survivability. Is the Type A the big chunky ones, the old ones that you see on like scanners? And which
Those
one?
Type
Yeah, like
B.
Skinner,
Type
that's
B.
a thing.
Those are good. And those come in USB 3. I got some USB 3.
Which have an extra
converters.
bit of chunk at the top.
Oh, yeah. Those are some good ones. USB micro. I mean, if you got room, and it's all done for cost. It's because they could buy X billion amounts of that surface mount connector. It's cheaper. Let's see. So I'm going to have to get something to drink. We're about to get started, everyone.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to hop up, go do something.
Yeah, I think I gotta take a break, and we're gonna leave Pedro alone
Yes,
again.
go pee.
Pedro.
It's finally getting to the time of the year
There you are, boo love.
where I can enjoy tea.
Warm tea.
Enjoy tea, not absolutely needed for the first 35 minutes of being in here because it's like 8 degrees. This is perfect. You can mix and match, hot and cold. You can regulate. Lightning, USB. Don't worry, USB 4 will fix everything like USB-C did.
That's the thing. USB 4 is the one that's going to be Type-C, backwards compatible, Thunderbolt compatible. Ideally, it's the unicorn, but it's just not coming out. Why? Why not?
Let's see.
Oh, that's the poop clock.
What?
When one of us goes to the bathroom, you can tell how much time we spent there.
What are you talking about?
The fancy little countdown on the bottom left.
The one that's been there for like 2 years?
I guess Bell Pepper never noticed it.
Oh. I thought there was some new technology among it. Okay. Yeah.
It's the poop clock.
Let me see. I need to do the social medias, everyone. There we go. I will do one social media there. Aha, I've social media'd. Man, that Vulcan. That Half-Life Vulcan post. Let's see. 108 likes. 108 likes. That one got cut off yesterday about 6 p.m. for notifications, man. At least once a week, I end up with like one, and it's always some random tweet. Like, oh, here's a screenshot. Hey, look, Half-Life 2, by the way, has Vulcan, courtesy of DXVK from Valve, and it'll just be non-stop notifications for 2 days straight. Live for LWDW. Let me see. Twitch. Linux Gamecast. Control A, Control C. Control V. Dude. Done. Above and beyond the Call of Duty. Let's see. I will. Also, for anyone in Discord, that's a thing now. I saw Pedro joined up.
Yes.
I'm going to make Pedro an administrator.
Look, it's not all the time, but sometimes I put our own stuff in the background when I'm done with my subscriptions, and the YouTube suggestions aren't suggesting anything that I want to watch. So it's like, okay, the full thing there, background.
So that's a recent backlog. There's probably 40 hours of stuff to watch up. It took it a while to import and process, but it got done before today, so we will announce it today. Twitch says you're not subscribed.
Because subscriptions on Twitch are just called follows.
No, follows on Twitch are called follows.
Yes. But the subscription, as you would have it on YouTube, is called a follow on Twitch.
Which is confusing sometimes because you will have the senior moment. And you're like, oh, right, subscribe. No, I just meant to that's why it's a heart on the mobile thing. There we go.
It's usually very easy to tell because you go to hit the subscribe button. It's like, why does that have $4.99 written on? Ah, right.
I'm not gonna lie, I've straight up subbed to people I didn't mean to. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna. I'm like, all right, have your month, enjoy it. I get a bunch of Twitch subs. I watch a bunch of Twitch people. They keep me company when I'm doing stuff. I need background noise, and I prefer live background noise. I've been enjoying the dulcet tones of Porto. You gonna share with the class?
No, I'm just reading the screenshot that Justin posted. Nori actually got that too. She went to click on the updates thing and it popped up the window. It's like, your computer is not supported for Windows 11. She's like, help. What? Oh, it's saying that it doesn't support Windows 11. Yeah, ignore that.
Oh, come on. You didn't you didn't toss over an Arch thumb drive? Like, here you go.
I've already told her time and time again. It's like, you should be using Linux. But my Adobe stuff is like, fine, yes.
Oh, you need, what, you were like, oh, so you need it for work? Pedro would like to continue being able to safely sleep in his own bed.
Yeah. But no, she does a lot of the drawings and Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop and the Adobe portfolio thing online. Those are the big ones that she uses. So, yeah.
All right.
Yes, she has tried Krita, she's tried GIMP. And I set everything up beforehand to give her the best possible experience. It's like, the things aren't in the same place. Mm-hmm. I don't like it.
You got to realize, you got to come to terms with it, man. Some people don't know how to use a computer. Typically, we call them Windows users. But a subset of Windows users and Mac users, they know how to use applications. You get them outside of the application, and this is not good or bad. Some people got other interests, man. So don't give anybody a hard time. I'm like, I don't know them. You get outside of Photoshop, Adobe Suite, Creative Cloud, something like I don't, what? How do I get back in my thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, Test Man. How are you doing?
All right. Let me grab a drink. I'm gonna give me a hot drink and a cold drink.
Oh, nice.
And,
that makes sense.
We will. Yeah, it's been brilliant. It's getting down to like 10 degrees at night. Do I have to have the AC on? It's awesome.
It's been a little cooler here, but, for us, cool is just like, 5 to 10 degrees cooler, but For us, that's winter. So-
Bell Pepper. This was before it was called PhotoGimp. It was called GIMP PS, and it was literally just a folder that you dumped inside the .gimp folder, and it changed, and it set the keyboard shortcuts, and it set the theme to. You turned it on, and if you weren't expecting certain amount of functionality, you couldn't tell the difference between GIMP and Photoshop. But she was expecting that amount of functionality because that's what she learned. So. Yeah, she's exactly the kind of person that Adobe likes.
I remember when GIMP Shop came out, that was a big deal. And it was great because they, GIMP integrated a lot of that in the new interface.
I had to replace the
Oh, hello, FX
the fan
Boy
assembly.
Forever. How are you doing?
I had to replace the fan assembly on an XPS 13 at work from someone who has now broken that particular laptop at least 3 times. And I've already fixed it, and it's there, it's in the cupboard, and I'm not going to tell anyone that I fixed it. It's just going to stay there.
It's just going to stay there.
Because I don't want to send it back to the person that keeps breaking it. No, sorry. You've had 3 chances. No more.
Yeah, FX Boy, I'm doing very well. I'm very excited because I'm going to do another Disneyland trip this week. Continuing my vacation. A day here, a day there, 2 days here, 2 days there. So.
Ever since Bash introduced the colored blocks, you don't need ASCII anymore. You can just use the color blocks. There's going to be a lot of panning to see everything, but you can use the color blocks.
Yeah. The Kaka Library. CA.
There's what's IS libassimp. Oh, it's talking about asymptotes, like the mathematical things.
Oh, it's
No. Libassimp.
the Linux penguin shirt from ThinkGeek from the 90s. Yeah, that does age me in Linux, doesn't it? Yeah. A lot of people don't realize, but that's where ThinkGeek got their start, was selling open source shirts and Linux and BSD. That's what used to be the only thing that was in their catalog for a couple of years when they started. And then they expanded to
I don't
all
think anyone's
things
asked
nerdy.
about the mug yet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you did, Boo. It's my... Of course, it's our transporter mug, which I love.
Aha.
I have so many Star Trek mugs. If I got them all out from my collection, I could show a new one on LWW for about at least a year. Because I have all the collector's mugs that go with the plates and the ones from the 80s from Taco Bell and all the hard to get ones. All the fast food ones, the ones from McDonald's from the 70s.
That's old Frank rocking in the background with his ThinkGeek tie.
Yes. Yeah, I know, FX Boy.
Hot liquid's fine. It's tasty. Let's see. That's together. Let's take a look at shots. That's good. That's good. Get 3 shot. Alright. Credits are loaded. That's good. I think we got pretty much everything together. BPM time. Let's
Yeah.
go to- Wait.
Some of their products are still available because GameStop kind of swallowed ThinkGeek up. In fact, my husband still has some ThinkGeek gift cards that he has to use, but at least he can buy stuff through GameStop to use them. And I think he
Yeah,
keeps
most of the gift
forgetting
cards
about
from
it.
the stores here have expirations like you have until this date to use it. If you don't, tough.
They used to, but not anymore.
I
We
think
had
they
a
made
law
that-
pass
yeah.
here in the U.S. that changed that.
They did, didn't
Yeah.
they?
Because
Yeah.
there were some gift cards that I had. I remember they're like $50, $100 at places that had been misplaced. They had fallen, behind my bed. And fortunately, they were 10 years later. They still took them. I was so grateful. Pedro, how long do they usually give you? At least a few months? Or?
20 minutes.
6 months.
Oh God, yeah, that's nothing. Yeah.
That's just long enough for you to.
That's kind of
hey,
what it used to
didn't
be.
I have that?
I gave one of those to Nori for one of the shops that sold very, very nice boots. I actually bought a pair of sneakers from that shop, and I bought her a gift card. And it's like, you have until date to use it, and she almost let it expire.
Oh, yeah.
Gift cards are a fantastic way to convert perfectly usable cash into plastic that may or may
Yeah.
not get used. What I'm saying is, if you're giving gifts to people, just give them the cash. They want the cash anyway. All right. We can get underway.
I actually had to go out of my way to stop at the cash machine because I bought
Okay.
one of these not Ridge wallet. It's one of the cheapo copies. And I stopped at the cash machine so I could have 10 pounds just
Put it
there.
Oh,
It has the little clip that you can put money in. It's like, okay, I
Yep.
don't have any money to put in there. All right, fine, I'll stop at the cash machine. There, done.
You wouldn't be the first person on this show to break out prop money. I mean, it's not even some money.
Because I haven't, since the whole lockdown thing happened, I haven't used cash money. It's card everything.
I know. I haven't. Yeah, I don't even keep cash in my wallet anymore.
I get cross.
Used
if
to
somebody
for
pays me in
emergencies, but-
cash for anything. Like, really? Then I got to go to the bank. Last time I went to the bank, I went to the bank with a couple of $1,000 in small bills. Didn't look sketchy at all.
Did they think that perhaps you were dancing in the night?
Well, listen, all right. It was warm. I had my thong on. Deal with it. But that aside, you shouldn't jump to conclusions.
No, I just work at Starbucks. These are all my tips.
Yeah.
No, that's when I did some work, helped set up some audio stuff, but I made him give me bank bags. So they're night deposit bags. So it wasn't quite so sketch.
Yeah, during the pandemic, so many places stopped taking cash that we were kind of forced to just use cards and tap. And so now we're all used to it and the convenience.
For a while there, Tesco only accepted cash in the self-checkout tills.
Oh,
because
yeah.
to
we
avoid
have that
people
too.
touching
Yeah.
the cash, but now they've lifted that limitation and you see people paying cash on the man till. It's like, really?
You know what? If I'm like in the self-checkout and I see that, and you're in that part of the equation where you're debating, you're like, okay, we got to factor this in. How many people versus... And you see somebody pulling out the cash. I'm like, nope, they were coming over here. That's just how it is. Yeah, I don't keep any cash. Well, I mean, I have cash in a go bag, but I'm the person that has go bag, so it's not just American currency. All right, so let's rock and roll, everyone. You can use cash in self-checkout in most developed countries. Yes.
Yeah.
What,
There's usually a side of the self-checkout till that says card only, and then if
Yeah.
you have cash, you have to go to the other side.
what did they have in New Zealand? Like wool?
Just like vending machines. They have both now. Ven.
Card only.
Vending machine, yes. What does a vending machine look like? Shaped like like Frank.
The vending machine at work has card payment, and that thing likes to just lock up every now and then. So we were actually, one time, the person in charge of property services was like, you guys, come here. Because we always go to the vending machine, and every now and then we'd have to go to receptions like, yo, it's bricked. So they actually pulled us aside. It's like, here's the switch. Just flip that off and then flip it back on. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
Here's the reality, though. I mean, any type of vending machine that is going to do credit, contactless, like that's dangerous to have near, man. At least cash is self-regulating to an extent. You're like, I will allow myself this much.
Yes.
All right, everyone. Are we doing good? We're doing good. Yeah, okay, we're doing good enough. All right. Oh. Let's hit that and listen to a little.
Allergy. I did my allergy attack preparedness. Blew my nose.
All right.
Pear.
Yeah.
You gotta do like Jordan and just do the sniffles right into the microphone.
Yeah. No.
He got it figured out. I'm like, you know what? How about this? Bring some tissue. Isn't that a lot more convenient than 4 hours of...
Yeah.
Listen, like I don't have that level of tenacity. At some point, I'm getting up, man. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
You're driving me crazy. All right, everyone. Let's do a show. Goodbye, sweet, sweet EDM music. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
That's EDM music.mp3. Click clack.
When I was a kid, I used to really like the blue gel that you rub
Vicks.
to get rid of congestion.
Vapor
Yeah,
rub.
a Vicks vapor rub.
Yeah.
I used to rub that all over myself just because I like the smell. So one time my mom went to use it because she actually did. It's like, why is this gone?
Pages of
Oh.
I like the smell of mint. Go figure. So
I've never had a problem
Nice,
with
Justin.
allergies or anything thereabouts. Like I'll once every couple of years I'll have allergies for 16, possibly 17 minutes. Like, what is this? Stop. But one time, like my sinuses got stopped up to the point where I said, fine. I went to the chemist and I got the decongest. Never again, man. My nose ran for like 2 days straight. It wouldn't stop.
Oh, yeah.
Like I was paper towels up the nose just to like.
That's exactly why I can't take the medicine either. It makes it worse. It actually does the opposite for me too.
All right, everyone.
Oh man, that's not fun, Ben.
Well, I mean, considering, I'll take it in the grand scheme of things. I'm like, all right, fine. And welcome back to Linux Weekly Daily Wednesdays, where we can sit back, relax, take that midweek break, talk about some of the fun things going on in the world of Linux, open source, anything else that catches our fancy. I'm Vin Stone. That was Joe Bryant, and over there with a new time zone. He's got that fresh time zone smell to him.
Oh.
Can you do a little bit of a time change? Isn't that coming up?
next weekend.
Next week. You getting ready?
Yes.
Have you already changed? Are you prepared?
I mean, the shows will be an hour early, so I need to remember that.
Oh, come on.
But-
Yeah.
You've only had that happen to you, what? Well, no, it was more
Last year.
once in 20.
Every single time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a holiday tradition, and it's getting the, like, 5 minutes before showtime is like, oops, I'll be right there. Hang on. Give me a minute.
Oh, I need to get dressed. Hold on.
So that's definitely a thing. What's going on? What's new? Jill, your clock showed up, so you know what time it is.
Yay! Yes. My pine time showed up. And yes, I prefer the analog dial.
Analog. Hipster.
I know. I need to put more faces.
You use the
watch
actual
faces.
Pine Time, and then you change the color. It's like, there you go.
Yay! No, I'm so happy. Yeah, it came from the slow boat from China, and then from a cargo ship that was stuck in the LA harbor, most likely. But it's been very fun to play with. I'm looking forward to using it to track my footsteps when I go to Disneyland again this week. Yay!
You're gonna be doing that? That's the thing you got going on? Going to Disneyland again? You didn't get enough of it?
Yeah.
You're not full?
No, it's going to be once a month for a bit because I bought passes for me and my husband as our vacation. And I want to make sure to utilize all that money I spent.
Pedro, do you have anything at all going on? Because you never had anything. And I don't know. Sometimes
This week I got nothing.
It's always a mystery. You got cash in your wallet, Pedro.
I do. Though I got that wallet a while back. It's one of those fake Ridge wallet thingies. It's the stealth wallet. That's
yeah.
It's got
nice.
the little pull tabby thing that you could actually pull to reveal.
For our
cards
audio
and
listeners,
stuff.
he's holding up a really cheap Raspberry Pi case.
That's a little too thin for a Raspberry Pi case.
And it's a nice
like
RFID.
thinner than my finger.
Metal.
So there's that.
Sweetheart, you need to get a Pi Zero.
Or the what's it called? The Arduino type one, Pi Nano.
The Pi Nano.
Those are pretty thin too. Yeah.
Do you think we could make a Pi Nano phone?
Yeah.
Yes, if not
feature
for
phone.
nothing else, then for just the for the pun.
Yep. That'd be it. Man, I've been up to a lot of stuff. I've been accelerating a lot of things I've had planned just because, Valve came out and they're like, hey, we're making the Steam Deck and we're serious about it this time. So we kind of do a Linux gaming show and just some infrastructure stuff. A couple of things I went ahead and put up. This is probably a bad idea, but I've been asked a lot. What are the settings for all the equipment here in the studio? This is the Jack Studio setup. There's nice red text up at the top that says this page only exists to show the configs on the computers in the studio, followed by this is not a guided tutorial. Blindly applying things from this page can and will break your system. So I look forward to people ignoring that and the emails for all the settings saying, my system's breaking. I'm like, cool story, bro. That's all you're going to get from me. Again, and I don't put stuff up like that for reasons, but there you go. It's up. Have fun with it. Also, for my brothers and sisters out there that want to practice their mixing, I try at least once a month to get things updated. If you're unaware, we have a archive.org page with Linux Gamecast stuff, and I went ahead and dropped Linux Gamecast 478 multi-track export. It's a dry mix. It's the raw audio coming in from last week's show, which YouTube took 76 hours. It's 27 hours. Yes. To do. It's released non-commercial, no derivatives. Go ahead, play with it. If you've ever wanted to see what it was like to mix an audio show, this is the good stuff. This is not the stuff. If you want to get into the business of editing podcasts and stuff, this is not the things that people will give you. They will give you like this horrific mixed down stereo with an air conditioner running in the back. But if you want to play with your levels, the three of us, that would be myself, Jordan, and Pedro coming in. You can do the EQ, you can do all that, get your own mix and compare it against the actual episode and be like, hey, mine's better. And that's awesome. It wouldn't take too much. And finally, one thing that I went ahead and finished, which is Nightmare. Pedro understands this. If you had Google Plus, maybe you had 2 Google Plus accounts, maybe you had a YouTube account. Because if you had Google Plus, you had a YouTube account. And if you had a YouTube account, you got a Google Plus account. And further and further and further down that rabbit hole where I've ended up, I think I have 6 YouTube accounts now, which I've managed to merge some of them together. I'm terrified. The fact that our YouTube page works at all is a mystery to me because I was linking accounts blindly until everything linked up to like even the AdSense account. But I've created a new YouTube page called Linux Gamecast Uncut. For live and uncut stuff, it has got all of our game streams. They're going to be going up there along with Linux Gamecast Uncut and this show that you're listening to or watching if you want to watch it. without all of the ads and the intrusions that you might experience from Twitch. It will be up there. Basic running, just to keep track of it. Reason we're doing this is I ran an experiment last month to appease the almighty YouTube AI. And I said, what happens on our main channel if we just put out the produced content? Because I make no illusion, Pedro will tell you right now, what do we get a month? About $30?
Yeah.
Ish.
Probably less than that.
Yeah.
28 something.
So I don't want anybody coming at me like, oh, you're trying to make money. This has nothing to do with money, but it's about discoverability. Back to, I want people to be able to find our content, because more than once I'll search for something that we've done, incognito account. And yes, it'll put the laser search like 9th below other stuff that has nothing to do with it. I want to improve that. I want to improve the discoverability, the visibility of our produced content, Linux Gamecast Weekly, Interfacing Linux, and this show. Again, anything that is going to go through like, the machine, as you will. And I did that last month, and shows like this went up, 20%, and Linux Gamecast Weekly has jumped with a mixture of everything from like 200. Not many people has ever really watched our videos. We've always been audio podcast, but now it's averaging 400, and that's trending upwards. So we're going to be putting just the unproduced live stream stuff on its own channel. There'll be a link.
Thanks, Valve.
Again, this was stuff that's been like, I'll get around. Oh boy, I better get around to doing all that yesterday. Let's just go ahead and get that started. So yeah, there'll be a link, probably on the web zone. There'll be a link in the show notes and all that if you want to just sub to that and watch it. As it currently goes with our live and uncut series for patrons, you get a podcast version of that, and you get it usually the same day, if not the next day. And after that, a week later, it'll go up on the just general channel. You can watch it. So yeah, again, we're not trying to nickel and dime anybody. Yeah.
Nice.
Housekeeping. Well. Jill.
Yeah. So, oh boy. So on to the news. So Ubuntu 21.10 Impish Injury has been released with lots of major updates for the Ubuntu ecosystem. Hooray! And this one by default now includes GNOME 40 as the default desktop environment. And no worries, the Ubuntu dock is still there, but it actually has been redesigned to
I'm just looking
incorporate.
at this image and I'm thinking, man, you had to refill the HDR container when you got done with that shit.
Look at that lightning bolt going to the laptop. So the Ubuntu dock is still there. And so the dock now includes a divider between running and pinned apps, and now has a trash can applet, and the trash can is not on the desktop anymore. And the Yaru light theme is now default.
Hiss.
Yeah. Hiss. We wanted that dark theme, and now Ubuntu has the Linux 5.13 kernel, of which Ven commented 5.14 would have been nice to see. Yeah,
5.14 would have made a lot more sense, considering all the work that's been done in the back end for audio latency correction, especially with the USB audio interfaces.
Yeah.
But hey, what are you going to do? And that just kind of leads me into thinking, where exactly does the Ubuntu desktop sit in 2021, rolling into 2022? Because we're thinking about it like this. The kids are running Arch. Old timers like myself, we're running Debian or Fedorf. We're doing that. The new kids, don't want to call them newbies, but people are like, I want to try this out, but I need a comfortable experience. I need something I can use while I'm learning. They're heading over to Pomp OS, and masochists run spins of main distributions that may or may not exist next year. What do you want again, Pedro?
KDE Neon?
That one.
Developed by Jonathan Rydell, one of the, if not the head developer of KDE. But yeah, go on.
What happened to Fundunto?
I'm not actively involved with the development of KDE Neon, so...
Excuse me, Pedro. I think maybe your powers have grown over the years.
I did kill Crunchbang inadvertently, but there's Bunsen Labs now. That one works.
I'm just thinking like that. But, currently I think of Ubuntu kind of like is like the vanilla middle default thing, but not necessarily I would recommend for any particular use case. And if somebody says, hey, I'm running Ubuntu, I'm like, all right, that's fine. I wouldn't try to convince them to change to something else, but in the same hand, I wouldn't come to them and say, hey, getting into Linux, try Ubuntu. I just wouldn't do that. I'm genuinely curious, as Joe brought up, Firefox is going to be the edition where Snap is a thing. Firefox comes snapped, and I want to see how that trickles down, because if you're unfamiliar with like the story in this studio, I used to run everything on Ubuntu, and here I absolutely did. And I still remember the day because we were talking in our Discord. I'm like, what's wrong with GNOME System Monitor? Why is Calculator taking 10 seconds to open up? Oh, they've been replaced by snaps. I wasn't informed of that. Interesting. Then you go and you find out, like, how do I find out what's installed as a snap? How do I get rid of the snaps? And, that caused me to insert any amount of time, figure out what was going on, why things were being different, and for what reason, what was the logic behind it. Firefox is going to be that line for some other people. It absolutely is. And that was the day I said, you know what? I'm just going to run Debian. Don't have time to mess with it. So, Pedro, where do you see Ubuntu sitting in our 2022 world?
The default spin, I don't get it, because
not enough KDE
running
by default for you. Yeah.
Honestly, it's running GNOME, and has been established time and time again. You can't run GNOME without running the third-party extensions that GNOME very much doesn't want you to run. They've gone out of their way with every new version. They deliberately, well, probably not deliberate, but all of the extensions, at least the most common ones, seem to break. So then the developers need to fix that to account for the new version of GNOME. And Ubuntu, out of the box, is using 3 of them, at least. So, really? That's the default experience you're putting yourselves through?
Ubuntu is going to face the same problems as Fedora, right?
But Fedora...
Wait a minute. So the same problems as Pop OS, right?
Yes. Fedora just kind of went with the vanilla GNOME experience. They're possibly one of, if not the only major distro that actually does that, because every other distro has at least 2 extensions. So yeah, I'm trying 2110, but it's Ubuntu, the XFC spin, not the default one. It's on the laptop right here. The Dell 5495. I'm going to be taking this one to Portugal, and if until that time Ubuntu behaves, that will be the one that I run while it's there. I suspect it will be fine, but you never know.
I'm going to go ahead and throw it. I mean, I will definitely listen to Jordan. When Jordan comes back and he says, you know what? GNOME, perfectly serviceable on a single monitor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very true.
How about you,
It's made
Jill?
for laptops.
Yeah.
Since you're not, you weren't just patiently waiting. You're like, when can I take a swipe at GNOME in 3, 2, 1? Here we go.
No, if you have
I'm using
laptop
Ubuntu Mate right now.
So what do you think, Jill? Jill?
Yeah, well, I actually do like I like GNOME. I think it has improved and it has its use case, but it's not necessarily the one I like to use. But it's okay if other people use it.
Well, GNOME aside, what about just Ubuntu in general? Because that's the question.
Okay. So yeah, I love Ubuntu. I prefer to run LTS, and so I'm looking for the next LTS release, which was going to be 22.04. It's stable and it's great for my broadcasting rig, and I'll probably stay on it. Although I also have set up a Fedora 34 box for broadcasting as well for the future. But I think Ubuntu is still a great choice for a new user to come over to Linux. So
I think at this point, fine. Pop really takes the cake on that one.
It does. Yeah, no, but again, Pop OS has the modified GNOME experience and the modified Ubuntu experience, but it's still Ubuntu at the base, which is still Debian at the base. So Yeah, agreed.
And that's why I'm with Debian, because all that's like body kits. You know, when you see that poor car with like stuck on fenders and stuff, I'm like, well, why'd you do that to my boy? Get all that nonsense off and let's use the Debian.
Yeah.
But hey, each to their own. And yes, my brothers and sisters out there running Susie, we understand you wanted to be included, but we also know that you're trying to get your Wi-Fi and video drivers up and running right now instead of watching the show.
Well, also Ubuntu 21.10, they have also included Wayland support for users using NVIDIA drivers, which is really great.
Good luck.
So that'll be
NVIDIA's never going to
default.
release a Wayland driver, Jill. That's we've sit back and we've been waiting for a Wayland driver from NVIDIA for so long, and they're just like, no, I'm not going to do it. We're NVIDIA. And we're like, is this really you talking, Jensen, or is it the jacket? I think it's the jacket at this point. And I'm being a little facetious because guess what we got right here is a Wayland-powered display driver for NVIDIA. That's right.
Yeah.
You can play around with it. It is a beta driver. So now my first thing with this, I saw that we got the experiments, installed it. I'm like, okay, what can I do? Can I do all the fun stuff? I'm not that brave. What I found out I could do was install Weston, and I launched a terminal inside of Weston while I was writing X, and I moved the terminal around. It was everything I imagined it would be. Outside of that, there's also a mechanism in this beta driver to play around with a resizable bar support, which can drastically, we're talking like 10, 20% improvement with some DX12 using, what is it?
VKD3D?
VKD, yes. We need to call all of this now just like James. Because
it should just all be incorporated into the XVK, but probably VKD3D has some incompatibilities with the XVK, so they can't merge them.
They just like threw it under like, we need to come up with like a general name for it, because, you know, we had like D9VK, D3D. What?
Let's call it Proton.
No.
Yeah.
How about can we call it wine?
But wine doesn't have DXVK or
We're
VKD3D.
working on it. Shut up. we're making our own DXVK.
They're trying to do it the right way. Kudos to them. Major kudos to them. But yeah.
Also that. But I mean, it does work. I wasn't brave enough to try launching just straight Wayland because I looked at the line of depths, and the only thing I have I got an NVIDIA card in Jackbox, but the only NVIDIA card that I have in any of these boxes with that's not headless is Threadbooper, and I looked at the dependency chain of getting all that set up. I'm like, nope, not doing that on a production box. But Pedro, you should play with it. Jill, you should play with it. You should have Wayland for days.
Yeah. I actually have been playing with it, and I think this is great because it's going to bring greater compatibility to Fedora 34 and the new Ubuntu. So, yay.
Yeah, the
Wayland
thing
is the future.
that, you know, me being me, what I appreciate the most about this particular driver is that AMD finally caved and decided to support GBM rendering for Weston and Wayland. But they're doing it via the EGL system that they had in place beforehand.
Okay, to save everyone the email, Pedro just said AMD finally caved.
NVIDIA.
There we go. See, look, I saved you the comment.
Yeah, no, NVIDIA finally caved, and they, for the longest time, they were pushing for EGL streams. EGL streams is the way to do it. EGL streams, this and that, because the Cronus group, this and that's like, everyone else is doing GBM. So, well, here we are.
Well, you got to look back at when we were talking about this way back when we were also looking at Mir.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure all this stuff is baked. This is just good old fashioned NVIDIA spite at this point. Like, yeah, it's done, but wait a little longer. We wanted to do it this other way, but it is there. Go play with it and send me some emails, send me some feedback, let me a comment, let me know how it's working for you, because then you get to play around with Pipewire and everything else. And if you want all this hotness out of the box minus the beta driver, Fedora is the way to go play with that. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wayland and Pipewire.
Absolutely beautiful.
Internet's been a buzz. It's been a blaze. People talking about the DIY laptop from Framework. We've all looked at it. Louis Rosman's talked about it. Linus has talked. I think Linus has put some money into the project. Not this Linus, the other one, the squeaky one. And we're all very excited. I think Louis is very excited about it for some reason. I'm like, repairability. Yes, you can mix and match and everything was going to go together like that. 100%. And then we got to the price. Wow. Understandable, but still, wow, that's expensive. There might be a way to kind of get a starter edition, just the beginning bits for like the Build-A-Bear of laptops. And I'm talking about the Framework Laptop DIY edition, starting at a very affordable $749. A price even a Pedro could love.
Honestly, that's not too bad for what's on offer. And if you actually go and spec out the base version that you could buy beforehand, I think you still can if you can find it in stock. It costs the same. So good job. Not getting, not ripping people off on that one. But the interesting bit for me was this DIY version comes bare bones, just a motherboard with the processor. So you have to supply your own RAM, you have to supply your own Wi-Fi, you have to supply your own storage, and the little modules for the expansion ports. The Wi-Fi card. That's the first, because most every laptop out there has like an approved list of Wi-Fi cards that you can use, and if it's not if it's not in the approved list, you can't run it because the BIOS just goes, yeah, sorry, no, you can't do that. So I am kind of curious of the YouTubers, like maybe the aforementioned Squeaky Linus, if we can get just one of them and throw different Wi-Fi cards in there to see what works and what doesn't, because that could make that even more interesting. It's everything that they do around this laptop. It seems okay. No, 3x2 screen, modular everything, encouraging people to take it apart and repair it themselves if they can. Everything sounds great.
It is pretty decent. I mean, that's going to get you I just walked through it online while Pedro was talking to you. That's going to get you a, not terribly powerful i5, 1135 G7 and nothing else, basically. You get a screwdriver and I select, no operating system. It's going to cost you $749. 1 year limited warranty, 30-day return guarantee, one per order, free shipping, and it does require $100 deposit.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
Well, you can go really back later and buy the modules for Wi-Fi.
You absolutely can. You can stick everything together. And what I really enjoyed, that's why I wanted to do it live while we were streaming. Sure, the price never went up. It didn't. As long as you select no options. Hey, I want exactly what you tried to sell me right here at step 1. And I don't have to jump through any hoops. I don't have to make sure I unclick some hidden box. Hi, Dell. Right.
Oh, what's that? You don't want that renewable warranty?
Yes.
and if you want to put Windows on it, the price goes up $139 to $199. So
they're
stick
paying
with the
for
Linux,
the full
folks.
license. Oof.
Yeah.
That is, $700 is very tempting, especially around this time.
Absolutely.
$100 deposit. Whoa. I'm not buying a laptop from anybody, but I'm just saying, if you are in that market and your face looks like Pedro's just did, I don't know how you're going to be able to resist.
It is a very good proposition. They're doing whatever they're doing. It's working, and it's working very well. They have thus far accrued a lot of good brownie points from the internet. So
good job. Goodwill, especially when you have that case and you know that their focus is modularity. You're thinking like 2 years down the road, if this company is going to continue not being evil, you're like, oh, would you just like to buy a new motherboard for your case? Sure. Here you go. Mm-hmm. Done. Oh, you want to upgrade the screen in a couple of years? All right. Here's a new screen. Done. It's bizarre to even think like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
My entire adult life, I'm like with everyone else, like, why can we not standardize on like a laptop form factor? And every manufacturer's had every excuse, and they've been pushing out different ones for 30 years. So it's nice to see one company go, hey, let's do it this way. And they've also opened up their own store to let other vendors come in to make modules. Mm-hmm. Good times had by all. Now, Pedro, the next story, I have seen people very much upset online, sir. Very much upset that this is not $99.
No, it is not. It's not $99. And if you heard one Jill Bryant talk about it on another podcast, you may know that we're talking about the PinePhone Pro. We couldn't talk about it last week because the embargo had not yet lifted. So here we are. It is the RK 3399S SoC, which is, I don't know, I think at this point it is Pine's favorite SoC because it's on the Pinebook Pro, it's on the Quartz 64, it's on the Rockchip 64, and now it's on the PinePhone Pro as well. So there we go. No more all-winner 64 SoC, but of course, the brand new specs, they come with a price, and that price is $399, just under the nope line for me. I don't think it was on purpose, but that was very much like right under the nope line for me. It's like, okay,
look
if
at
I had
this,
that
Pedro.
kind of money, maybe.
No, it's $400. It's $400. Now, you're not going to Mateus your way out of this because this was a joint effort. Hundreds of engineering hours went into getting this thing $399 instead of $401.
Yeah, no, $399 is probably a very good price for what's on offer here, and it should perform very well. If, the software peeps throw in some extra love to ensure that the operating systems and all the apps work as they should. So I look forward to it.
It's
very
much
much
an audio jack. Man, you got to think about it, though. I mean, 128 gigabytes of storage, 4 gigs RAM, 13 megapixel camera, hex-core CPU, 3,000 milliamp battery, 1440 by 726-inch display. You put that in a tablet, and I'll buy one.
That's the new Pine Tab Pro.
The other cool thing that I found out is that the PinePhone Pro is 2 millimeters thicker than the PinePhone. And this is because Pine 64, the makers of the PinePhone, cares more about the community being able to open it up and hack it and replace parts as opposed to how it looks in compactness, like what Apple does. So, and the raised bevel is also why it is a bit thicker, so you won't scratch the screen when you lay it flat. And yeah, as Ven and Pedro were saying, this is a great price point, $399. That's less than half the price of some flagship phones priced at $800 to $1,000. So, and I really think this could be a game changer. When the software gets more refined, this is the Linux phone, you'll be able to share with your family and friends. And that's coming. Yay.
And it is very much a mid-ranged phone, and it is priced, unfortunately, with the current day mid-ranged phones. So
I still think it's pretty decent. I mean, yesterday Google's like, hey, you want the Google's mid-range? Got $700?
Yeah.
For a low-end one? You're like, why? Why? It's $700 low-end. He's like, have you seen what Apple's charging? $700, please. Mm-hmm. Give me. Mm-hmm. But there is definitely something, I was talking about this in the pre-show, is, we've definitely, like the PinePhone, what was the PinePhone, like $99, $129, something like that? Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was $150, $149.
$150. Okay.
Yeah.
That it was in the inst to buy, hey, I'm going to apply, just buy this to take it home. I'm not going to use this. It's my Tinker device. I'm going to build some software on it, play the Home Linux game, and maybe help with some development. Buggers like, this is still kind of that, but you can do it a lot faster. So just keep that in mind. I mean, the ecosystem development is still very much underway.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that anybody, because yes, there is a difference between $149 and $399. Fortunately, I think a lot of us are at a point in our life, we've all not been, but those of us who are $149, like, yeah, sure, whatever. I mean, you lose that and you're like, you're going to be grumpy for minutes, but $300, $400. Like, oh man, we got problems. Something's wrong with it. Just keep in mind what it is, and they're not trying to oversell it to you. Like, hey, help us out
they
with
specifically say it's like the software's not really there yet.
Yeah.
It's only as good as the software stack behind it.
And this is Pine. Keep in mind, $3.99 for what they're delivering from a boutique manufacturer is incredible. Okay?
Yeah,
It just is.
Especially in the phone form factor. Because this is, if you look at the guts, it's basically a Pinebook Pro in a phone form factor. So they cut the size on that significantly. Very good. Very good.
So this next thing, we're going to be talking about reverse tethering. And the reason I ran across this project, and while I couldn't pinpoint that particular time, I knew this would have come in handy because I know I've been in this situation where I did not have Wi-Fi on my mobile device, but like most of you at home, I didn't have a way to stick an ether noodle in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those USB adapters, they're not always available. At least when you open the drawer, it's like, I knew it was there. Oh, dang. What now? But yeah, this will very much help you work around that. And what it's first of all, it's got a clever name. It's called Ignirathet. And if you're wondering what that is, there's actually an explanation at the bottom of the GitHub page. It's tethering in reverse. So,
in reverse.
Very clever. Very, very clever. Very good. And yeah, it is built in Java and Rust. And what it does is it allows your computer via ADB to share your internet connection. So you're effectively tethering your phone via your computer instead of the other way around like everyone does when they can't find the Wi-Fi. It's like, okay, let's just turn on the tethering, share it to the laptop, and away we go. This does the opposite. If you're building, say, your own Android device or your own Android-based OS, this will help you debug any device issues if for some reason you're not getting access to the Wi-Fi's. Okay, so if I share the connection, does this work? Okay, so the issue lies with the Wi-Fi's or with the 3G module or whatever. It's made by the Genymotion people. So, very good job. That was very, very interesting.
I thought it was it definitely falls in the handy to know about, very, very handy to know about on the off chance that you ever need it.
Yeah, and I think we all have at one time. And I'm trying to remember when I needed it, but I do remember a time when I could have used this.
It's like, the Wi-Fi module on your phone is broken and you don't have a SIM. It's like, okay, I need an internet connection on this for things.
Oh, I got an easier one for you,
Or your Wi-Fi
Pedro.
goes down.
Or you're in Vin's house and like, what's Wi-Fi password?
Oh, well, that's a... There we go.
Do you got 20 minutes? 'Cause you're going to have a fun time because most of this is upper, lowercase, and special characters.
Where's the WPS
and you know
button?
what? Yeah. If I'm remembering, a lot of routers, the Wi-Fi usually dies first before the Ethernet dies. So that's a good use case. Now I'm kind of remembering that was when I needed it. And the other cool thing is that even the developer actually says to use the Rust version of the program because it takes up less resources than the Java one.
Well,
so.
I mean,
it is Android, so Java is to be expected. Yes.
Yes.
ADB, all the things. So, Joe, you're about to tell everyone at home that Apple is going to replace all the buttons on Blender with a single button that you just click and you keep clicking it until it's done making the thing you want. Right?
No, if anything, Blender's going to get even more complex and more buttons will be made.
Have you used an Apple product?
Well, Apple won't influence the user interface, fortunately. So this is huge news for my favorite open source 3D creation software, Blender. Apple has joined the Blender Development Fund as a patron member to support continued core development for Blender. Woohoo! And I had actually heard a rumor of this coming, so I was kind of waiting. But as we know, Apple wants a piece of the pie, especially now that Blender runs on the M1 and it'll run on the M1 Pro and the M1 Max. So, they want a piece of that pie because Blender is, taking the 3D world by storm. And Apple will also provide engineering expertise and additional resources to the Blender headquarters and development community. So this is a very, very good thing. And it's so nice to see all these big companies coming on board to help Blender, because they're seeing that open source is really taking over the entertainment industry. So it's really wonderful.
Pedro Mateus.
I completely tangential to the story, but I'm looking at the name of the press contact person that Apple put in charge of the Blender bits.
Yeah, Alex
and
Bender
it's like
Rodriguez.
Apple. No, it's Apple Blender, and the name of the person is Alex Bender.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, someone was being clever, weren't they? It's like, oh, we should put Alex in charge of the Blender thing. It's like,
I think it's pretty interesting. It's going to be the same as normal, and Apple wants to make sure, because Apple's spreading that money around. I guarantee you Blackmagic did not have a version of DaVinci Resolve ready on day one just out of goodwill. For the M1 architecture. No.
Yeah.
No. So it's good to see that. And I personally find the M1, their take on ARM extremely fascinating. You know, just
it's
the
great.
possibilities with, you know, the memory bandwidth and that alone. Now, again, we'd all wish it wasn't Apple who made disposable throwaway things that end up in landfills, but, you know, you take the money where you can get it. Speaking of money where you can get it, if you want to send us some, you can do that by becoming a Patreon over at patreon.com/Linux Gamecast. That's how we finance everything. We pay the bills, we put the bandwidth up, and we don't put it on like some weird, like shady site that may or may not collect your data information. No, sir, we host it. YouTube? No, I'm talking about the podcast. Pedro, how old are you, Pedro Mateus?
35?
He's
Okay.
still in his 30s.
At 35, you're old enough to know that podcasts don't show up on YouTube's.
You tell me
Video
this.
podcasts
Wait,
do.
how long have I been doing this? 8 years, almost 9? Yeah, you're telling me this now.
I'm saying that you're of the age, because you ask a 12, 14, 15 teenager, you're like, listen to the podcast? Yeah, on YouTube all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
That's where I found Linux Gamecast.
So thanks to each and every one of you helping out with that. And if you can kick us some coin, we'd very much appreciate it. But we'd like to give back, get early access to the Live and Uncut series in podcast format. We do that. We throw that out there a week early for everyone. We do have some special things that we do like to roll out as well. Access to our Discord, where we're at the other 6 days a week, and we're all in there actually talking. That is our primary form of communication. Even if you just want to show up with some popcorn, it's a good idea, and it's definitely a fun time. Executive producers even get a special video live stream. Speaking of live streams, we have an audio only stream just for our patrons. If you want to pop that in, you want to watch the video, waste the bandwidth, that's a thing we deliver. But stick around for your names and credits and all that other stuff. We do have a merch store and a bunch of other things. If you'd like to support us, you like what we do, like and subscribe, do the shares. Head over to linuxgamecast.com, hover over support, and look at all those glorious options. But that's going to do it for our shameless self-promotion. We need to get into a slice of alphabet pie.
Ooh. Well, I guess.
Did they take the noodles from the alphabet soup and stuff them into pie crust?
Pedro, you need to take a step back
cut the
because you
apples
just
into
watched in
numbers.
real time someone go, oh, followed by, I didn't say I wouldn't eat it.
I think it's just apples cut into numbers.
Yeah. If, like Jill was saying, it is apple, okay. Apple pie, very clever apple pie. Right, fine.
I don't know, man. Just put it in a blender, man.
A blender bender.
But then again, maybe the apple bought the blender. But yeah.
The iBlend.
Yes.
The iBlend.
You make jokes like that, but they just released a $20 iCloth. Okay.
Oh,
They did.
FX
did.
Boy made a good joke. A blender bender render bender. For our last story.
Supply chain shortages. This is no laughing matter, but we do need to talk about it. And this is directly from Raspberry Pi, because welcome to the Brave New World. 20th of October. So this is nice and fresh. There's some bad news. Pi 4 2 gigs are going to be returning to the $45 price point. This is only temporary. Hopefully 40 nanometer silicon will be allocated to the Compute Module 3 and the Raspberry Pi 3B. So If you're looking to get a Raspberry Pi 3B Plus, what do you do, Pedro?
Well, basically now all you do is you get the compute module, because if you want the 3B Plus in the usual Pi form factor, the standard one, you're just you're gonna want a 4 because it's better. So yeah, go with the 4, and if you really, for some reason, you really want that 3B Plus SoC, you get the compute module, and you also help the Pi people sell the baseboards.
What if my company's spent about $100,000 in Q&A and engineering testing for that particular version of the Pi, and we need more of them?
Compute modules.
We can't certify that. This is medical.
You can. They will have the option of the Pi 4, and they're with the 1 gigabyte of memory, and they're actually bringing that back into production, and that'll be the classic Raspberry Pi price.
Pi.
Yeah, that'll be the lower Raspberry Pi price of $35.
Look, it's a 3A plus with 1 gigabyte of RAM.
Yeah,
I don't know. Considering like all the supply chain disruption, like you look at this, and you're like, okay,
yeah, it's not a big deal. Yeah,
and also this is the Raspberry Pi. This is a company that's taught everyone, hey, we got a new thing. You're like, awesome. I look forward to buying it next year when it's in stock.
Yeah, when you actually can.
Yeah, we've been dealing with scalping pricing on Raspberry Pis
waiting
for a decade, man. I mean, this is, yeah, it prepared us for our modern times. So if you would like to write in and tell us about your Pi scalping adventures, how would one do that, Pedro?
Oh, we're not doing the Lego Pi?
Oh, we got Lego Pi up next?
yeah, we have one more to go.
Yes. There's a Lego Pi. It's actually very nice. It's a more open variant of the old Lego Mindstorms, if you remember that. It's a hat that comes with the Mindstorm connector that you could use for the motors.
I am not
for the
putting
sensors.
that on my head. I don't care. No, not happening. I don't care what the kids are into. I'm not putting that on my head. Nay.
And yeah, this very much goes along with what people already do. What do people do? They get a Raspberry Pi and they found some Legos that they have lying around from however many years ago. Or if you're a huge man-child, hi, me.
Is this thing like Akira? Can you just like throw it in that room and it'll...
No, but you could just keep adding to it. It's a more manual version of Akira. But it is, yeah, it's just a compliment to that. You can drive the motors, and those motors, they were saying that the motor for the Mindstorms, that the Mindstorm stuff use are 7.5 volts. So it comes with its own power supply because you're going to need a bit more voltage to drive those motors. So there's that. But it's a great idea. All of a sudden your Raspberry Pi can drive the Mindstorm. Yes. Finally. Why wasn't this a thing before?
Yeah. And yeah, Pedro, it makes total sense. And this partnership with Lego Education is actually going to be huge. And it's going to lead to even more development of the Raspberry Pi. And that's hoping that our supply chain shortage does allow this. But it is coming. Yes. But
Whatever.
It's an awesome opportunity.
I'm still not wearing that on my head. So, no.
So many kids are, playing with Lego Mindstorms. So this is perfect.
But you can't cut yourself on Legos. Where's the learning experience in that?
Well, you can still hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Injure probably not.
Yeah, if
but
you step
it
on a
will hurt.
Lego van, that'll hurt.
Joe Brian, if I step on a Lego, it shatters.
Not likely.
Out of fear, abject terror.
See, what Ven didn't tell you is that he dipped them in liquid nitrogen, dropped them on the floor, then stepped on it.
You've never broken Legos by stepping on them?
Yes, after I was already grown up and I weighed 90 kilos.
Oh, I didn't know this scenario required a time machine. My bad.
Yeah, Pedro did.
Yes, as it turns out, I weigh a little bit more than I look.
Now,
but yes,
if you would like to tell us about your time machine, how can one do that, Pedro Mateus?
Ah, yes. It's important that your time machine be running Linux, because if it isn't, well, then it's probably waiting for Windows updates, and then you're not going anywhere. But if you'd like to get in touch with us, you can go to linuxgamecast.com, you hit the contact button, and you fill out the form. There's just a form there. There's some caveats that you may want to read.
I had to update our form. I did.
Oh,
I did, because this Linux gaming thing's starting to take off again. So I just feel like this. I feel like, you know what? Don't contact us asking us if we would like the opportunity to review or stream your game. Okay, like skip the middleman. I'm not going to write you back. We're just going to go in the bin. But everything else is
if you'd like us to have a look at your game, send us 3 keys.
3 keys. No, Pedro.
That's all we ask for.
Listen, I want to establish a relationship.
With us? Really?
We're trying to listen. I understand for the PR marketing department. Yes, we're trying to get rid of your job. We just want we look forward to your email. We do have one this week, and
LWDW is the show that you want to send your feedback to.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
So Earl writes in, we were talking about RSS feeds. I believe it was last week, wasn't it? That was the thing. So it's like, I used to be a massive Google Reader user. It was heartbreaking when they closed it down. And then I shifted to good old Reader. However, they did something scammy. The account was free at first. Well, I mean, so you were the product at first, got it. And unless I paid them, I couldn't add new feeds. Ah, right. So we decided not to remain the product. After that, I spun up a DigitalOcean droplet for like $5 a month and installed TTR.
Is this an ad? Are we reading an ad right now?
Aww.
What? I'm just taking a pot shot at Cameron. That's it.
Oh, poor Monster Cameron.
And haven't looked back. It's mapped to my rss.earlcameron.gov subdomain. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, DigitalOcean droplets, all the thing. That's a perfect use case for RSS
They're cheap.
feeds.
They're wonderful. You can use them. Just don't expect them to work when you need to light them up for showtime, because then they're down. Like last week. True story.
No, it really does feel weird to be talking about RSS in 2021, current year argument, but it is entirely Google's fault on that one, because they're the ones that killed Reader, and then they're the ones that reintroduced that kind of functionality to their Android browser.
Yeah.
What?
It's a different way to collect data, man.
need-
I mean, it's a marketing company. Why are you relying on a marketing company to give you products and hold on to them? What do you think's going to happen at some point?
We need to be able to click that follow button on our Chrome browsers on our computers, not just Android.
I'm sure someone will make an extension. It's fine.
You know what? Don't let your memory turn to Go. Don't rely on RSS feeds. Just visit the sites. Learn the domain names. Type them in. They're easy to get to.
Give the peeps that you enjoy ad revenue. Or if they have a Patreon, do that.
No, Pedro, let me tell you about this elaborate system I have in place to prevent supporting anyone.
Are you using the Brave browser?
Dude.
Because
we get that sometimes. We're like, wow, that's people who, what do you call them? Privacy hobbyists. Like, that's cool. Granted, any alphabet agency or government can watch anything they want, period. But hopefully you enjoy yourself. On that bombshell, we got to bounce out of here. We want to thank you for joining us live, listening to us after the fact, or watching us on our new fancy live and uncut YouTube web zone. But we're going to spool the music and roll some credits. Do I get a credits button?
It's our music.
You're right, there it is.
Oh, thank you, Justin. He says, you are all awesome. Thank you.
actually, you know who's awesome?
Me.
Every single one of you.
Just me.
Every single one of you watching us right now.
All of you.
Yes. Joining us live, and the fine folks who can't join us live, but they decided, you know what, let's throw some money at a problem and not fix it. In fact, it's only making it worse. Here we are.
Oh. We love all of you, and thank you, everyone in chat. We have someone new in chat, Spurk Stan. Thank you so much for joining us. And we've got Altamore, we got Linux Ganuru, we got FX Boy Forever, we've got Artherin, we've got Steve Husband. Oh, so many. We got Mir.
There's a Sandy and an Arthur and yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all
Are you
amazing.
two done
Thank you.
practicing your reading?
Yeah.
Yes.
Next week we're doing arithmetic. Maybe some abstract
Okay.
algebra.
I was
Oh,
promised
I
there
love
would be no
abstract
maths.
algebra.
I promise no such thing. Calculus it is then.
I was promised there would be no maths. No.
Theoretical physics.
Oh, I want to do finite math then. I want to analyze the binary system. That's
Oh,
fun.
Long
Okay, we're going to start with the square root of -1. Oh wait, no, that's a
And I want to
binary.
do flow charts again. I haven't done a flow
can.
chart in ages.
I'll break out an abacus.
Yeah. I've
By
used
the way.
those too.
I'm sure you kids had to use a slide ruler.
Oh, yeah. I've learned.
I learned how to use the abacus a long time ago. If you put one in front
Oh,
of me
that's
right
good
now,
then.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's been so long.
I'm just going to
So-
say if society has fallen to the point where you have to break out an abacus, you got better things to worry about than knowing how to use an abacus. I had this out with a law professor that was forcing everyone to go to the library to do their research, even though everything was listed online where they could pull up and cite everything. I'm like, yo, check this out. And what was the argument? Oh, well, you need to know how to look up stuff in the law. I'm like, listen, if it's got to the point where the power's out, people aren't going to be coming.
There is no law.
Yeah, that law thing,
That thing you're practicing, gone.
not going to be applicable to the current situation. All right, let's pull up after show. Let's see if we'll hang out for a little bit. And
Ooh, there's a new iron pineapple. All right.
Ooh, nice.
do you know what I watched last night? It's the right season to do it. I watched all of I skipped through all of Helsing Abridged.
Oh.
Yeah, still
I did drop a Helsing abridged bit during the stream.
that was just the Twitter page, man. Of like, you see, she looks at it. It was like hashtag called
At
it.
the Crimson Arm.
Yeah, but it was like told you so. Hashtag called it and like say it. It was just- yeah.
Ooh, that looks good, Lenny
Integra.
Skinner Raw. Yeah, but I know, yeah. First Apple computer.
Oh, is that the Applecus?
Yeah, the Applecus.
It's probably got bugs.
Right, I need to pee. I'll be right back.
Okay. Aw, thank you, Sandman. Excellent show, guys. Sandman.
Let me see.
Arthur, and I love that Mordor she wrote. That's pretty funny.
Oh. There we go. That looks good. I don't see anything too far out of it. I'm all gotta get ready for a Violent Femmes concert tonight. Ah, man.
Ooh, have fun,
are they
Linux
having
Skinny
it
Raw.
where? Like the retirement home?
Ooh.
Or?
That must be one of your first concerts since the pandemic, huh?
I hadn't even thought about going to a concert in a minute.
Yeah. Well, the ones that have started here require, of course, proof of vaccination, which isn't a problem for me, but it is for some other people.
Flogging Molly. Oh, man. It's gonna be I don't know. There's nothing against either of those bands. It's like, there's at a certain point, at a certain age, certain bands, I'm like, you know what? I want to remember you in your prime. I forget the dates again. Can you DM me the date? Why are you always asking me for dates, man? Come on. And put a ring on it.
Aww.
You need to add
Rat
Pedro.
lickers.
I'll be 100% with you, Sandy. At
Good
Pedro,
FX
that
boy.
exact same thing, because I have no idea what the dates are. I just show up, and if people are here, hey, more the merrier.
Aw. in Arthurian, yeah, there is a few more penguins. It's funny because I was trying to take them away, and people are saying, "Oh no, we want more penguins back." Okay, I put a few more out.
Look at you lying through your teeth. That's cute.
But yeah, it's the hardest thing is transitioning, and I am literally almost ready to pull my desk in the center of the room and start painting, but it's hard to get rid of my penguins.
Jill, I got to give you and Steve credit. You guys have turned a weekend job we're well into over a year.
Oh yeah, no, I knew, well, not a year, but I knew.
Where's that piano at?
I have several, since
the
I had
piano?
several hundred computers to take out of here. That's what's taking a while. And trying to I had to make a temporary space for everything.
Like I said, it's impressive, Jill. It's impressive. Where's the piano again?
Yeah. It's still the living room.
Okay.
But it's closer to the back door.
Slowly inching its way.
I know, you guys. No, seriously, that has been due to the pandemic because the places that used to take pianos aren't doing it right now. So that's part of our problem. So that is a legitimate excuse.
I mean, if I didn't know you, I'd believe it.
Yeah. Then.
You could sell me on it. It might work for some regular people.
But yeah, I am doing very well. I'm gonna start emptying out the cabinet. So that's kind of my next big thing.
Bowie?
They can do a 2-pack concert of Bowie.
Mm-hmm.
No drummer. I'm remodeling a computer room and reorganizing things and repainting, new carpet. I've got new cabinets and I've got new industrial shelving for my computers. So I have a lot to. I had more in this room than most people have in their house. So
You gotta remember, guys, you're dealing with hoarders.
yeah. Yeah, hoarders.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to be going to a concert, I'm going to be running the board, so I'm going to be that guy. Like, you're doing it wrong. Get out of my way. They usually don't argue with me. It's fun.
Yeah. Absolutely, Sandman. You need more room for your penguin army. I need more room for my penguin army. Yeah, I've got, oh my gosh. Well, remember how many penguins I used to have in here? Well, I have over 100 more in other locations. So I could literally fill this room just with penguins.
That's borderline a problem right there.
Huh?
Yeah. It's kinda, I just kept collecting, and people give them to me and give me as gifts, and then at scale, people give me all their Linux penguins.
Then you put them on your wish list.
Yeah. Yes. Because I wanted pink ones,
More.
and I got pink ones from like Mike G and Pedro sent me that
I really
pink
wouldn't
one.
mind. I like the idea of tiny homes, man.
I actually do too. I think it would make life easier. I just have to have a lot of storage units.
Like I've seen the.
Oh, look at the two people with big effing off places, and here I am, single bedroom apartment, and you can't wait to
in
move
the
to have
one-bedroom
actually
apartment.
a little bit of room. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to
In
upgrade
Portuguese,
to bigger
we have an
space.
expression. We have an expression where people are doing that. It's called talking with your mouth full. Literal translation,
okay.
but yeah, I think you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware that every conversation had to do with you. Sorry.
Hey, I'm here.
I didn't know. I didn't know you were back. You hadn't said anything.
Not full gypsy, no. Although, I don't know, the idea of living out of the back of a camper van. At one point, I thought that'd be pretty interesting. Nowadays, like, no,
No, not anymore. Yeah.
I just don't like having a lot of stuff. And I don't have a lot of stuff. The whole like living out of an RV. The problem is like the RVs, like I could live out of that. They're like $100,000. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Fiber to the van. Yes.
It's called Starlink. Oh man, did you see the what's the UK set company that got bailed out by the government because they went bankrupt for not doing anything? Who was they're trying to get an injunction or what the equivalent against Starlink from fully deploying in the UK, and they want that Starlink to make their systems compatible, even though they have no product.
There's an entire chunk of the Midlands that has basically no coverage outside of satellite. That's it. Oh, and dial-up, yeah. Okay, satellite company, Starlink.
OneWeb. The one that was facing insolvency in 2020, and the government gave them a $500 million check to keep them around. And I think they were almost done burning out of that and still haven't made anything.
I need more money. What can we do to gain some, free advertising?
Trying to block Starlink, hold them back. The same thing, what was it? Dish Network was trying to do to Starlink. They're like, hey man, Starlink could theoretically interfere with a product that we haven't developed yet. That's unfair competition. It doesn't work like
Like,
that.
they have a product, you don't.
Right.
Eh?
Like, I don't care what your thoughts are on, like, the billionaires doing this, but one of them, like, built a space company to put their satellites up. I mean... the other one did, too. He just doesn't have it up yet. But the cult of personalities behind that, I don't care. Global internet is... I don't care how it gets done. It getting done is so vitally important. Because it is just torture trying to watch a YouTube video on a flight. I mean...
I think TweetDeck just froze.
Oh no, you might have to interact.
It's like I clicked on the thing and it started like it did the fade out. I was like, are you loading? No, so then my brain also stopped waiting for the thing to load. So, okay, I think it froze.
Well, it's always fun when TweetDeck up. I feel bad, man. We disappointed Scott. Scott was all excited. He thought he had a stalker, and like, ooh. Like, no, bro, it's TweetDeck. We see this all the time. And
yeah, people are searching for specific words, and your tweet probably included that, so you got a free like.
That was like in stereo. Pedro and I dropping screenshots of like, I don't follow any of these people either, man. But yeah, hey, good on you. I'll heart your thing. If you did something good, doesn't mean I follow you. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Power outage,
welcome,
and I don't
Vulcan
know
on wheels.
what. How frequent? Oh, yeah. Power outages are no fun. I was watching the PC World podcast where I was trying to, and they were in LA. Power went out. I'm like, oops. Then I guess the power came back on for a minute and they tried again. And because I'd come in here to start things up and I'm like, I went to YouTube and I saw that it was live again. Oh, neat. By the time I'd walked in here, I'd went upstairs, played around in the kitchen. I'm like, oh, I can put that podcast on in the background. And they were back offline again. So the power went back off. Which was unfortunate. I try to keep some
Vulcan on
backup.
wheels.
What?
The power, well, I am in Cambridge, so probably not representative of some of the more rural parts. But yeah, no, there are some horror stories. Dude, from work was saying, it's like, no, my parents live in Shropshire, in the middle of the mountains, very, very close to Wales. And all they can get is dial-up internet and satellite TV. That's it. That's the only service that you have there.
Well, that and microwave. Some places get some microwave out there.
Yeah.
It gets real hot.
What?
Microwave.
No,
As a microwave oven.
No, it's Wimpy used to have microwave internet. What?
I never had any experience with it.
Yeah, I've known people that have had it, but I've never used it either.
You people need to get to some rural areas then.
Yeah.
Rural,
I'm not. So.
Rural areas in Portugal where satellite TV and then cable actually started showing up. Unless you go out into the middle of the woods, at which point you have no power, no phone, no electricity, no nothing.
Well, I mean, like what? You'd probably see that out like in like Orkney. Like if you're on the islands.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Which is kind of fascinating if you want to look up North America and United States history. AT&T built a microwave relay that goes across the entire country for long distance, and they only used it for about 10 years and they shut it down because we discovered satellites. Yeah, the Orkney's out there, man. Like, that's when you run out of Britannia and you keep going a little bit in the north direction. It's a bit out of the way. I don't know. I'm sure there's like tons of little villages. Like even like what? Waverley? That's pretty close to London. That's south of London.
South, yeah.
Yeah, it's a small town, man. But yeah, power being out's no fun. Not at all. No. You realize there is, for me anyway, there's nothing to be done. It's like, wow, I have a book.
That's why we have UPSs.
When you know it's going to be a long one, though.
Oh yeah, I know. That's like,
Like, huh.
Or they send you a letter telling you, oh, you're going to have power outage for, 16 hours.
Then
At least you know
somewhere.
about it ahead of time.
Yeah, I'm like, I won't be here. That's fine. I'll go do something. Just like when I had that storm a couple of months ago and power was out from like 11 p.m. to like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. There's nothing to do in the middle of the night. I have my encyclopedia of Friar's Roast. Then I go get that and an LED light. Go through that. Then I get bored. Then I'm like, what's on what tablet? Oh, let's watch an episode of Breaking Bad. Okay. Better than nothing. And listen to emergency podcasts that I, at least every other month, I'm like, you know what? I should just download a couple of podcasts just in case to have them local. Which can be fascinating because oftentimes they're a year or two out of date.
Yeah, when I first moved here, didn't have internet at the place for like a month because that's how long it took for them to actually come and set it up. So yeah, it was basically at work, download all the things to the laptop, and on the way home, it's like stop before I actually found a job. Stop at the pub to download all the things. It's like there, I have things to watch.
I remember when you were doing that.
I just sit with Nori, and it's like that was our YouTube DL.
Yeah,
it saved my life.
Yeah.
Sandy, I do not chop wood. All I have around my house on my property is pine. And even if I wanted to take them down, I don't think I have a pine tree anywhere that I can remotely see the top of. Everything around here is, 200 plus years old. And I mean, you can't, mess with it. I'd cut something down and break a neighbor's house. It was like that when I came outside. I do have a chainsaw, though. There's your big shrug emoji. I've never used it on anything. I just went and bought it one day because I realized I didn't have one. I'm like, that's a crime. I should own a chainsaw.
There are other tools that I should get before the chainsaw.
You know what? I loaned it out after we had that storm. Because unfortunately, nothing fell in my house. Listen to him at work. At work's Wi-Fi is terrible. Yeah, I've turned into I just stream everything now. Like outside of just downloading the occasional podcast. But I'd never listened to those for that purpose of, 40 minutes into that power outage. That's where I was. That's where I felt myself. I'm like, what do I have downloaded? All right, guess we're going to be listening to this. And I did. It's always long form stuff too. Pine is still good? I wouldn't. Well, see, this comes to the crux of the problem is I've never used my fireplace.
Although pine wood for fire, unless you want.
Got a lot of resin in it, man. I don't want to.
Yeah.
It's gooey.
Unless you want, flaming hot resin to shoot out of.
And I'd have to get like the chimneys cleaned, then I'd have people Cockney accents singing "I'm a Ru." It's just no. We're not. I don't know. I keep threatening to do that, though.
That's one of the things that disappointed me. Speaking of Cockney accents, when I came here, Cambridge is a very posh accent. They don't speak. Imagine Stephen Fry. They don't speak like him.
Aww.
Which was kind of disappointing. But if you go into the city, and if you go to some of the less wealthy parts of town, then you can hear a little bit of the Cambridge accent. It's like, there it is.
My people.
Basically, you go to McDonald's.
All right. Have either you or Nori ordered from Burger King again since Saturday?
No.
Burger thing.
What? We discovered it on that day, and then I was left home alone, unsupervised.
That's good.
So I ordered some more.
Yeah, there is that. Also, I would refuse to buy pre-chopped wood. I'm above that. Doesn't seem right,
Yeah.
Let's see. Is there any things like that, like pre-prepared stuff? You're like, no. That'd be like buying a banana in plastic wrap, man. It's like, don't. I've seen it, individual bananas for sale.
I didn't know you could get Lucy bananas, but okay.
Got barcodes on them, man. You just haven't been into a pretentious enough grocery, man. They exist.
It's like, Tesco's has the plastic bags that you grab, and then you grab like a thing of bananas, put it in the plastic bag, and then person at the checkout, or you yourself at the self-checkout, weigh it on the till. That's it.
High confidence in this one. There we go.
So Pedro, how many Burger Kings did they open in England?
Just one.
Okay.
There's one. It's like 10 clicks outside of town, which of course then Deliveroo and the other ones don't really deliver here.
Okay.
It's only within that radius of the restaurant.
You know what? You gotta look at the positive, man. You used to live in a place where you couldn't get anybody to deliver.
Yes.
Including
the delivery companies like Hermes, and DPD was okay, surprisingly. DPD actually had no problems going to deliver stuff there. But Hermes was straight up, where we don't cross the railway line past the railway line in that road. It's like, why not? Security reasons? Right, okay, you're afraid of the gypsies. Fine, whatever. It's like, yes, that's where I was living. Apparently. I lived with all of the undesirables, which, as far as I could tell, they were all okay. I mean, the kids were obnoxious, but then again, they're kids.
Kids are gonna kids,
all the grown-ups were fine.
I have too much of like, man, I got away with so much murder in my youth. I was talking to Jordan and I was like, I can't narc on some of these kids. Catch them out in the neighborhood. I'm like, God, I should report you, but then I'd be that guy.
Yeah.
Then I'd be that guy. I'd be the buzzkill. Because I'm like, man, if I had a time machine, I'd be doing that with you. All right, everyone. It is past 4:45, and I gotta go do the alchemy thing. Make a podcast.
Yeah.
It's a good time for me to do another kind of alchemy called dinner.
Yeah. Big dinner. What's on the docket for tonight, Pedro?
If you give me a second, I'll go get the recipe.
See, every fiber in my body wants to just hang up on him, but
I've been very fortunate because my the neighborhood kids here are actually very nice and polite. They actually came up to my door and knocked and asked if they could play in my driveway, and I said, "Oh, sure." That was nice of them to just ask and not just go do it. You know, I was
Beef
happy.
and mushroom pie with mash and Savoy cabbage.
Oh, yummy! Yeah.
So yes, hopefully it'll
That's
look like
nice.
that by the time I'm done.
so
Yeah, I'm sure it will, Pedro. You're a good cook.
for our listeners
I
out
can't
there,
wait to try someday.
Pedro will be having coleslaw and toast this evening.
Avocado toast. Yummy.
It's beef and mushroom pie. All right, okay. Yeah. I did wonder what the rolled up thing of pie crust was, but yeah, no, that's. I shall be making this.
It's a single-use jelly bean, like most jelly beans. Don't believe the hype. You're only supposed to use jelly beans once. All right, everyone. We'll catch you next week, and Jordan will be back tomorrow with no idea.
A thing.
Yeah.
A thing. Stay
A
tuned.
thing.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.